Now, see, I was just talking bad about Instagram. One thing about Instagram is they know how to get you live out there. Instagram know how to send you live out there. But then YouTube, they not as good with sending you live out. They be a little slow. And then that YouTube don't know how to update your live fast enough either. They be so slow. So you see, they'll have 2 people on here, but you got 10 people in the chat. Wanted to pop on here. I just got off Instagram. Was anybody on Instagram? If you was on Instagram, let me know so I could talk bad about you. I appreciate the support, but I just want to talk bad about you. All this social media you on right now. But I wanted to pop on here because a lot of people tagged me in the message that the young man said he want to see more men talking about marriage. And I'll be honest with you, I want to see that too. I want to see that too. And I'm hoping soon that, see, we in a small recession because, and I'm gonna tell you how I know, because I keep my finger on the pulse of things. But tomorrow I'm teaching a class that I sent out to the mailing list, and I said the class is $25, but if you can't afford it, you could just pay what you can. Somebody sent in 1 cent, and then it was a bunch of $2, $3, $5. And I say we in a now it was I seen a $50. So it go both ways. Some people they in abundance, they abundant mindset, and some people they struggling. And see, somebody say they sponsor somebody because somebody sent in 1 cent. And I almost curse. I don't curse. So I wasn't really gonna curse. It almost made me mad. But then the Lord checked me. And the Lord say that might be all the person got. I was like, you know what? Okay. So it might be all the person got. I said, okay, you know what? I did say if it's not affordable, I don't want nobody to miss it. So boom, here you go. So I said, all right. I said, all right. I got to live with it. And so, you know, had to realize that. Now listen, y'all, I'm on my phone, so I couldn't set up to where it's only members. So for those of y'all who not in the Blessed Tribe, I want y'all to know that typically y'all would not be able to chat if I was on my laptop. So y'all be mindful of that and be respectful so I don't have to block you on here. But if y'all kind of, you know, understand that got to be mindful on here, and the chat ain't for a whole nother conversation. It's for what we talking about. So don't be on here talking about Black Friday sale and all that. It's for what we talking about. So understand that. And if a moderator mess around and get in here, they'll start moderating you. And one thing I done forgot is no, Jade, this ain't exclusive because I'm on my phone and YouTube changed it to where you can't make it members only chat when you're on your phone. So everybody have they faults. YouTube got their faults. Instagram got their faults. And it's just crazy that they just don't take people who they see active on their network and just fly you out there to Palo Alto and let you sit there and tell them what they need to do. And just you're thinking like, man, that ain't rocket science. Y'all got these people in the computers who don't even use YouTube doing the coding and they ain't even got stuff set up the way it need to be. So if you in Palo Alto and you watching this, in y'all next meeting, tell them to add back for those who go live on mobile the ability to make the chat members only and make it easy to see. And right there, easy and simple. Come on now, y'all got to do better. Y'all got to do better. To become a Blessed Tribe member, you'll see it under my videos. It'll say join if it's available in your country. So under my videos, right under the bottom, it'll say join. But I want to come on here. I ain't gonna be on here long now because I'm tired. I probably have been on the phone 6 hours today, coaching people one-on-one, individual sessions. Tomorrow night we have a session, but if you're not on the Academy mailing list, then you didn't hear about it. And that session we talking, it'll be a slight recap of what I did on live last week, but we're gonna go through some specifics and we're gonna be talking through some things about the dating world and just dating with, you know, some boundaries today. And so, you know, it's gonna get real. But tonight I wanted to talk about this thing because I've seen a lot of people talking about marriage and things of that nature, men speaking on marriage. And somebody just scored. My wife hollering. She watching somebody game. She love to get excited when my son come around because, you know, he want to act like a super soccer man. She gonna build that rapport with my son. She be like, ooh. She normally don't lie now, but she loves some sports. And so here's the thing. I want y'all to understand something. Is that the reason why, and that God bless you, the reason why a lot of men are not talking about marriage, the hollering at my wife watching a soccer game. And see, she about to have me. Oh, Tony Gaskin. Babe, somebody thought something wrong with you. Somebody thought something was wrong with you. Yeah, I'm trying to explain that. Y'all keep that down a little bit in that. Somebody be done call the police on me. She said USA scored. That's my wife though. She loves sports. So you come across a soccer ticket, send it her way. But the reason, I'm gonna tell you the truth about the reason why. And I took another take on this on Instagram, but my videos on Instagram, after I go live, I make them available for my subscribers because I try to give them something because I don't get to pop on there a lot. So just for them supporting me, I try to make my lives only archive now for my subscribers on Instagram because they have subscriptions on there now. And so I took a different take on there and I was talking about how when you in a relationship and when you working, whenever you in a relationship, you're gonna be going through. It's gonna be a test. If you're not going through a test, the test is around the corner. So that's why a lot of us don't get the breath to talk about our marriage or what we going through because we working through it. Like we learning each other. We working. We taking that time. We trying to grow. We trying to heal. And so we don't get to talk about it because if you go to talk about victory, defeat be right around the corner. Now, the defeat may be temporary, but it be right around the corner. So then what it can take and do is it can make you look like or feel like a hypocrite. So what I have to do is I have to string together a bunch of wins. So if you see me go for a whole week or two talking about business, that means that in my marriage, I'm working on myself as a man, meaning I'm trying to be more aware, more alert. Like I'm being quiet. I'm being quiet to the world because I'm listening to the spirit on what I need to be doing as a husband. But I'm going to tell you the other side of why a lot of men are not talking about marriage is because of cheating. And here's the thing. When men are cheating, if a man is online praising marriage, praising his girlfriend, praising his wife, talking about this stuff, it is going to enrage somebody. So just like the guy who went on the vacation with his lady, they went on the vacation with his lady. His boyfriend seen the vacation, and his boyfriend is not his boyfriend. It's really just they look like it was like a one night stand. And the man came out and was like, "Oh, it's funny to see how people on vacation when they was just at my house or just eating my salad or just no, just riding me or getting rolled last night or a couple nights ago, and my stomach did a double somersault because I'm visual, and the man got a little meat on his bones. He is not the slimmest thing in the world. So when he said that, I about to throw it up because I'm like, oh, y'all were doing what? And the man out there on vacation with his lady. That's why you don't see a lot of men post their woman, because they have a work wife or they have a woman who is on the side or a man on the side. So if they come praising marriage and praising their relationship, and the crazy thing about it that was interesting, because the man, he said, I want to see more people talk about marriage and what they got to work through and what they got to deal with. But it's like, listen, Playboy. It's a reason why a lot of guys not talking about it. Because a lot of guys ain't clean, they act up. A lot of guys ain't clean, they act up. And so you have to realize that when you go to talking, you're going to be tested. You're going to be tested. It's going to be trials and tribulations, and you got to be ready. You got to be ready. And so you got the D83 gonna come back on here making noise, telling I'm not a bad person. I like to troll. Boy, get out the chat. Listen, I ain't got time now. I ain't got the time. So y'all need to. I'm trying to talk, so don't be in the chat acting a fool, because I ain't got the time to be reading the message and trying to think now, because YouTube don't have it where I can put members only, because the members have some sense. So if you're not a member and you know you don't have sense, then just be quiet. If you have sense, then you could say something, but understand this is really just supposed to be members in here. So y'all have to sit like a fly on the wall and just partake in our members live. It's for the members now. So I just had to block somebody. And then me too, I don't like messages from people without a real picture and without a real name. When you come in here, DB83979 with a fake picture, a picture of a dog, boy. Because if you're going to talk crazy, you need to have a real picture and you need to have your name so I could find out your address. And so listen to me. So this is the thing. Is what we really need. And we will act dumb. We will act dumb. And we will act like, especially this new breed of men today, this new breed of men today, is deflecting and pretending that we don't have issues. And so the comedians and these entertainers started to say this thing of black men don't cheat. And they're so far from the truth. But what we hear and what we say, we start to believe. So literally men will start to tell themselves, I don't cheat, but they cheating. Instead of saying, I'm a cheater, I'm a dog, and I need to grow up and I need to change my life. A man will be cheating and telling himself, oh, I'm not cheating. And then he'll actually believe his lie. And then he'll tell himself, well, oh, other men got 4 wives. Other men got multiple girlfriends. Other men have threesomes. Other men in polyamory and all of this right here. So what I'm doing, it ain't no big deal. And we start to talk ourselves out of our common sense. And that's what starts to break our relationships down. And women cheat too. But the thing about it is it's different types of cheaters. So if you really pay attention to this, and a lot of people don't have enough data, and a lot of people ain't got enough going on. So a lot of times, 9 out of 10 times when a woman cheats on a man, he has cheated on her or he has abandoned her. 9 out of 10 times. There are women who cheat for no reason whatsoever. But typically, when a woman cheats for no reason whatsoever, she typically is a woman who was stripped of her self-worth and her self-value. Meaning she didn't have a father, or she went through something traumatic and she forgot who she was. Across 9 out of 10 times. There are exceptions to the rules now. So when you go on and you look at men, you will see men cheat who had a 2-parent home, who went through no trauma, who had a smooth sailing life, and they'll cheat. I know a brother who, he went on a podcast recently and he was talking about healing with integrity. He went on the Wifey podcast and he was talking about healing with integrity. Well, I know the brother personally, and he don't talk about his story. He don't tell his story. You know, he teach people how to be a speaker and stuff like that. But he's gone through 2 divorces. And just like the gentleman who doing the podcast, y'all told me that he cheated on his ex-wife and went through a divorce. So it's like as men, we do so much talking and not enough healing. We want to do podcasts and we want to gallivant and we want to gaslight instead of healing. Instead of really growing, we want to be in the spotlight and we want to make money, but the growth happens in the dark. The growth happens in silence. The growth happens behind closed doors. You don't grow on a podcast. You don't grow in the limelight. You grow by doing the work. But as men, we don't want to heal and grow. We want to make money. We want to be out in the limelight. We want to be out there front center. And the thing about it is women, and y'all have to forgive me, women don't have any discernment. Women don't have any discernment. And when I say women, I don't mean every single woman. I mean the majority. Just like when I was talking about men, I don't mean every single man. I'm talking about the majority. The majority of women don't have discernment. So here, women sitting and watching men who have been through divorces talk on love and relationships and eating it all up, not realizing that these men still ain't got it right. Still ain't grown to the point to where they could get into a real relationship that's not about money, that's not about clout, that's not about being with a celebrity, that's not about being with a fantasy, and worked on it with a real everyday woman and got it right. And just eat it up. Somebody just sent me a clip of the guy the single relationship coach with the locks. He's sitting there talking on one of the biggest podcasts. It's on the guy Jay Shetty. He on the Jay Shetty podcast giving relationship advice. Single as a dollar bill. Single as a dollar bill. So now the responsibility comes from the host. It's like, so now if you are a host, you need to make sure the people that you are interviewing have credibility, not just association. So what they doing is they going and they looking, oh, well, you went on this podcast, you went on this podcast, you went on this podcast, or you got this PR, or you got that PR. So I'm gonna bring you on my podcast, but they're not thinking about credibility. Like I just seen the podcast Earn Your Leisure. They promoting P. Diddy new app for black businesses. Well, when you have an app and you have transactions, you get a piece of that transaction. I have not heard a P. Diddy artist say that they've been compensated fairly. So I'm not getting on no kind of app where my money got to go through P. Diddy hands. So if I am a platform owner, I'm not fixing to I'm not finna promote to my audience somebody who is notoriously known for ripping people off. Like, come on now. Come on. Just to be associated with somebody. So this is another reason why men are not talking about marriage, because it's not enough married men. And men are too worried about association. Men are too worried about being and looking cool. So men it's like, oh, if I come out and I say I love my wife, and my wife is the reason that, you know, I changed my life and my wife stood by me, then men assume other men gonna be like, you're a simp and you're saying this for applause from women. That's how men look at it. Oh, you soft. Oh, you a simp. I seen another guy. He's praising, you know, his woman. He praising his woman. She's an amazing woman. She this and that. She an amazing woman. But at the end of the carousel, he's selling his course. So now every man is going to look at it, even if it's completely pure. Every man is going to look at it as, oh, this how you using this story, this sweet story, to get women to buy your course. And that's what they're saying. So I was talking about marriage on a new app, Threads. I'm talking about marriage, and I'm talking about marriage and doing this, and here come this guy in the comments. And he talking about, he was saying something, we going back and forth, and he was like, I'm not gonna knock your hustle. I know this how you know, I ain't gonna knock your hustle. Now, mind you, I ain't sold nothing on Threads. I ain't promoting nothing on Threads. But he coming assuming that just because I'm talking about marriage and why we don't talk about marriage often enough as married people because we focusing on the work, he assumed that it's an angle, that it's a hustle for me to be talking about marriage. And I'm like, so I wrote him, I said, bro, you sound stupid, because this ain't even how I make a living. So it's like, when the majority of my money come from me creating things outside of love and relationships. So it's like, when you watch my videos, a lot of times I'm riding and just talking. Well, YouTube pay you. Now that ain't majority of my income, but YouTube put ads on your videos and they pay you. But I'm not sitting up here and just pandering to men or to women. Because a lot of the men who accuse men of pandering to women, those men be pandering to men. As a heterosexual male, if I was going to pander, I'd rather pander to women than to men. Because what do it say about a man who is pandering to men? You want somebody to wear you out the frame, tear you out the frame. That's what that say. So it's like when men want to be seen and approved by other men, when another man can't do nothing for you. Another man cannot bring your child into this world. Another man cannot lay with you, cuddle with you, unless y'all in that lifestyle. But for heterosexual men, another man can't do nothing for me. He can't do nothing for me but be my brother. And if he gonna be my brother, then guess what? He ain't judging me for the message that God done put on my heart. And that's what I see today. And I'm gonna tell y'all now, and I'm gonna be real with you. And we're gonna go through this a little bit tomorrow in our class, but we're gonna have Q&A as well, so that'll make it a little more in depth. But I'm gonna tell you something. Is if you are a single mom, do not, or if you're a single father, we're gonna talk about that side too. But if you are a single mom, do not make your son your husband. Do not make your son your boyfriend. Do not make your son your king. If you're a single mom, know that your son is your son. And you have to raise him to be a strong, respectable man. If you are a single dad, do not make your son your homie. Do not make your son your road dog. Raise your son to be a respectable man. Today, what I'm seeing is so many sexually confused men who present as heterosexual and they present as masculine men, but they actually are sexually confused. And the reason why they are sexually confused is, one, because they were around their moms so much, they heard girl talk all the time, and they seen nails getting done, hair getting done, and they were in the conversation of women all the time. Two, the other reason is because of pornography. And that pornography takes these men and women down a path to same sex. And so these men, you gotta think about it. When somebody is watching porn, it's like watching animals in a zoo. Because if you will record the intimate act for other people to see, you've taken yourself from a human and you've made yourself an animal that is in a zoo. And if you are a man and you are dealing with women, you are used to that. So what is going to be intriguing to a young mind, to somebody that's 9, 10, 11, 12? It's going to go from man and woman to man and two women, to woman and woman, to man and man. And these young men are being turned out. And that's why you can't let your children have a cell phone or a computer in their room. When it's time for your children to go to bed, regardless of their age, they need to come and plug up their electronics in your room. And your child should not have a TV in their room. And if they do, it should not have cable or anything like that. And they should have to bring you the remote. And you need to check, you need to put them to bed. You need to make sure all of their devices are out of their room and in your room. And then you need to make sure you have their remote if they have a TV. And when you put them to bed, you need not go to sleep until they are asleep. So you need to stay up for another hour and you need to come back and check and make sure they're sleeping soundly. Because these children are raising themselves and they're being led to pornography, even at the Christian schools. And that is why these men today, because porn came out some time back, that's why men today are struggling finding a wife. Because it's either the man don't know how to relate to a woman or it's the women they're meeting don't know how to relate to a man. I seen a post the other day that said every woman is bisexual. And that really bothered me. That really bothered me. Because although I know it's not true, I know it's a piece of truth to it. And so even with women, you need to be careful with thinking that you're special and thinking that you can say, ooh, she's sexy, ooh, she fine. Because those are sexual terms. So a woman should never call another woman, if you are not a lesbian, you should never call another woman sexy or fine. You could say she pretty, you could say she beautiful, but don't use sexual terms from a woman to a woman. And the reason why so many women do that is because so many women also watching porn and also going to the strip club. Soon as they get 18, they go into the strip club with their homeboys or with their boyfriend or with their homegirls. So now women are starting to see women sexually. And then that's making it hard for a woman to relate to a man. Because a woman is now getting with a man, but would rather the company and the love of another woman. And so we have to understand that this sexual perversion is happening on both sides. And that men and women are being turned out to the point that they're being turned out internally, but externally still presenting as heterosexual, but being turned out internally so that when they go to a heterosexual relationship, they don't know how to make it work because of what they've been feeding themselves, what they've been telling themselves. And so we got to understand that. And it's getting real. It's getting real. It is getting real. My wife told me the other day, she was like, today, it's more likely for a woman to shoot her shot than it is for a man. She said it's more likely for a woman to shoot her shot at her than it is for a man to shoot his shot. And that's sad. That is sad. That so many women today is telling me that men not really approaching like that. There's so many women saying men not really approaching. And y'all remember a day, we all remember a day to where it didn't matter what you look like, everybody was getting approached. Everybody was getting approached because we didn't have social media. We didn't have pornography on our phone. Everybody was getting approached. And and I'm gonna tell you something. A lot of women is coming and they saying, oh, Tony, I'm seeing this type of woman, that type of woman, that type of woman married. And I don't understand how she married. I don't understand how the woman got a man, huh? I said, listen, she don't have a man. She have a girlfriend that is posing as a man. that her man got her as a cover up. Because don't think that you working on your mind, you working on your 3 Bs, and you single as a dollar bill, and here this woman who ain't even got 1 B, she ain't worked on 1 B, and she got a husband. Don't think that she a better person than you. No, she have a girlfriend that is calling himself a man. But she don't know men. She don't have the discernment. She don't understand. She can't see that switch in his hips. She don't know that her man like men. She don't know that that man who was selling them fake dinners was just riding her man the night before they went on vacation. She don't know that. She don't have the discernment. And so that's what you have to realize. So the other day, my son showed me this boy who played college basketball for Duke. He paint his nails. He paint his nails and he do a bunch of little very feminine dances. And I say, son, no, don't. I say, don't think that he doing all that and still like just women, because that's spiritual. When a man go to do all the stuff that a woman do, he liking what a woman like. Dang-a-lang. Tell you like that right now. Tell you like that right there. Because it ain't nothing cool about it. It ain't nothing fly about it. It ain't nothing swaggy about it. He want him, or he getting him some dang-a-lang. Tell you that right now. And that right there is becoming, a man painting his nails is becoming the new signal. It's becoming a new signal to other men to slide in the DM, because that's the only reason why they doing it. Because that don't make no sense. Because I'm going to tell you something. And this is spiritual. And the reason why I'm giving this here game away is because, and I can't say everything, and I can't say all the names and stuff on here. That's why we having class tomorrow night, so we can talk unfiltered, names and everything. Can't do all that on here. Y'all gotta forgive my. Do that. Even now, clear polish is not the same as painted, as a colored polish, but clear polish still takes us into a feminine space. I used to put clear nail polish on my nails, and then when I did it, I felt sassy. I'm gonna tell you like that right there. I ain't want no man. But I felt sassy. It meaning you feel feminine. You feel real pretty. And so listen, it's certain things that a 100% heterosexual man just not gonna do. I'm gonna be honest with you. I can't even sit with my legs crossed. Because for one, I got something between my legs that if you crunch it, it hurts. It's full of nerves. So for one, I just don't even feel comfortable. I've never once in my 39 years crossed my legs. So even though almost every man, so many men cross their legs, when I see a man cross his leg, he might not like men, but do he like man on man porn? What else do you like? Because it just not even genetically, it don't even make genetic sense. Not genetic, but anatomical, biological, whatever you want to call it, sense for us to cross our legs with all of that sitting right there between our legs. You crunching up, angling. That's painful. Like right now, if I try to sit here and cross my leg, I can't do it. So I have never once in my life. And I'm not knocking nobody because almost it's a lot of men sit with their leg across. But what I'm trying to tell you is you have to be careful of that spiritual perversion. You got to be careful. And it's a lot of men feeling real sassy. Feeling real sassy. And they go to venturing with their mind. They go to venturing with their mind. And the thing about it is the Black Men Don't Cheat was started by men who have multiple women. So then it started to make us not accept responsibility for our actions and for the change that we need to make in our life. And so we stopped accepting the responsibility to make the change because we were not admitting to our shortcomings. We were not admitting that most of us never seen even 5 men be completely faithful to their woman. We were not admitting that most of us had never been faithful to a woman. We weren't admitting it. And so that is why so many men, and here's the thing, men with big brands, men with multiple children, men with a big role in society, when you like a principal or a police officer, when we looking at it, it's so many men who have so much to lose and still cheating. I remember getting on the phone with 2 well-off, ambitious, successful Black men. And when I got on the phone, one of the men who knew me my whole life, he introduced me. He said to the other man, he said, "Hey, such and such, you know that stuff we be doing on the road? This guy here, he don't do none of that. He don't do none of that." What he was saying, for those of y'all who don't understand what he was saying, you know how we be cheating on our wives on the road? This man here does not cheat on his wife. That's what he was saying. And I was just, I didn't know how to take it. Because for one, I was saddened. I was saddened because I'm like, the question in my head was, haven't y'all had enough? Like, we done slept with 3 women in a day. You know, one of the gentlemen on the phone hadn't slept with 13 women in a day. I'm like, haven't y'all had enough? Like, why are we still cheating? Like, I'm not understanding. Like, why are we still taking that risk? Like, we took sexual education class. So we know that just based on statistics, it's only so much sex you're going to have before you catch something that you cannot get rid of. So I was saddened because, and then what I also was saddened is because their wives, gorgeous. So I'm like, man, this is a gorgeous woman, classy, respectable, and she being cheated on. She don't deserve that. So I'm thinking like that because at that point, you know, of course I was older, I was in my marriage, but before I got married, I had already been with over 100 women. And the only reason why people know that is because I tell people that. Because a lot of times, and so that's where it's a little unfair for me, is because a lot of these guys who you see online, you could kind of look at them and tell that they never had women and that they never was in that place. And women be shocked when I tell that, but I tell it because that was normal. Like, and I was on the low end. Like, my homeboys would be sleeping with girls, and I'd be like, man, I ain't touching her. So by the age of 21, I had slept with over 100 women and I had standards. Standard. So, cause it was a lot of women that I turned down. There was a lot of women like, no, bro, I'm straight. I'm straight. Y'all finna do that? Y'all finna, no, I'm straight, right? And so listen, that's how easy it is. And I'm like, wow. And that's honestly, and this is what men don't understand. And this is what I try to tell men all the time. The reason why I lean more to educating women is because I know how easy it was for me when I was in the field. When I was in the field, women was so blind. Women was so gullible. Women was so easy to trick, so easy to manipulate, so easy to control, so easy to deceive. And that's what taught me that a woman was made for love. Because as men, we don't trust nobody. But a woman would come in, and she would come in, and women come in and give a man everything. Women come in and they believe the best of a man. Women come in and they believe this man finna love me. He's the one. He gonna marry me. He finna be this. He finna be that. Like, women will come in and just be just wide open for a man. And when I saw that 99% of the women I met was willing to sleep with me on the first night, it broke my heart. It broke my heart, but I didn't know better. I ain't know better. And so I was like, man, in a sense of I knew better, but I wasn't being taught better. Like, that wasn't a thing. Like, we weren't taught coming up, oh, save yourself until marriage. So it was like Christians, even though we in the church, everybody in the church fornicating. Like, all the pastors' daughters was pregnant. All the pastors' sons was dope boys or stealing, or so it was like the church was more about tradition and religion than a relationship with God. The pastors were sleeping with the members, the deacons were sleeping with the members. Anybody who ever grew up in a black church or in any church, because they did it in Hillsong too, and a lot of these white churches doing it too. But anybody who ever grew up in church, you know that the church is full of sick people. The church is full of people who need Jesus. And a lot of people ain't trying to get to know him. A lot of people just living. And so we was in there and we was full of sin. We were full of sin. And so that didn't mean nothing. And it started to cost us. So that's why I tell men today, why you always calling the man out? Why you always giving away the game? It's because when you played the game at the level that I played it, and you saw that in my life, I met 3 women. Okay, no, 4. That turned me down. That when I made a move sexually, they said no. 5. My wife was 1. And at the same time around with my wife, it was 2 other women. One of the young ladies, I didn't really count her because she had just came out of a relationship. The other young lady was 10 years older than me. The other young lady was 20 years older than me. And then the other young lady was when I was young, when I was, a jit. And I tried to holler at, y'all know, for those of y'all who follow me on here, the young lady with the thick tongue. And so I could count on one hand how many times a woman turned me down when the first time I made a move to sleep with her. So that's why I do what I do. That's why I give away the game the way I give away the game. Because I realize a lot of women, fathers, did not give them the game. Because if a man give a daughter the game, we got to tell on ourselves. And a lot of men are not willing to take a cape off. So they'll call me Captain Save them, but they the one got a cape on. Cause see, I'll become Clark Kent and let you know where I failed at, let you know my shortcomings. But a lot of men, daughters are raised blind because they won't tell their daughter the nature of men. Because they know their daughter, being intuitive, is gonna say, well, Daddy, is that how you do mommy? Daddy, have you done that to mommy? And then it's really no man in the world that can say, yeah, baby, I cheated on your mom. Or yeah, baby, I put hands on your mom. Or yeah, baby, I done cursed your mom out. Or yeah, baby, I control your mom. So that's why it's so many women who are naive to the nature of a man, and they go in with wide eyes and they like a deer in headlights, not realizing that that man is a F-150 with his foot on the gas, and he coming to take her for everything she got. See, very rarely does a man come to a woman to give life. Does a man come to a woman to protect her? When we come as a man, we coming to take. We coming to get a woman on her back, get a woman to open her purse, get a woman to open something, open her mind, get a woman to open her ears. We coming to take. Very rarely does a man go to a woman and say, listen, I want you to save your body. I want you to save your body, and I want you to stop giving your body away. I want you to save your body, and I want to get to know you, and I want to get to know who you are here, and I don't even want to sleep with you. I don't want to sleep with you. I don't want no support from you while I'm getting to know you, meaning because I got God to support me, or my mama to support me, or I got I got me. I want to get to know you. Who are you? Now, how many women have you met who could tell you that a man came to them and did not pressure them for sex, got to know them for who she really was, fell in love with her, and then followed through, married her, and then was faithful to her? And see, that's where we going wrong. Is as men, we supposed to be protectors. We supposed to be protectors. But we cannot be protectors until we are honest about the wolves in sheep's clothing. We cannot be protectors until we are honest about the issues in the camp. We cannot have better marriages and better lives until we are honest about what's really going on. Look how many women say, never heard that. None. And this is why I try to get men to understand. But see, that's why it's not many of us, because in order to have this revelation from God, you have to get over yourself as a man. In order to have this revelation, you have to stop feeling sorry for yourself as a man. You have to stop being the victim. You have to stop thinking, what is in it for me? What can I get? And you have to put the shoe on the other foot, and you have to seek to understand. As men, we have to say, how many men treated my mother like a queen? As men, we have to say, what man gave my mom a covenant and kept the covenant? As men, we have to say, did I see my father not control my mom, or not put hands on my mom, or not cheat on my mom? And so we have to realize that as men, if we didn't even see that from our own father, then where did it happen at? But we are walking around as men with this delusion that we have no work to do, that we perfect beings, that we don't cheat, that we need a woman to bow down and to serve us. And we're not thinking about, what trauma do I need to heal? Have I healed from the person that I killed? Have I healed from the person that I seen get killed? Have I healed from seeing my mom get beat? Have I healed from my sister being raped? Have I healed from my sister being beat? Have I healed from seeing my aunts be beat? Have I healed from seeing my grandmother beat? Have I met a woman who I believe she's never been cheated on by her man? So if I can't take and see a woman who I believe has never been cheated on by a man, or is with a man who I believe has never cheated on her, then how am I believing that we as men don't have issues that we need to work out? How are we believing that? So we have to come to a place to where we could say, this is an issue. This is an issue. So if we as men got homeboys who are married, and we go around our homeboys, and we on the road, and we on a guy's trip, and our homeboy will kiss another woman, sleep with another woman, do something with another woman, then how am I telling myself that women cheat as much as men? If every man I know, when presented with the opportunity, cheats on his woman, or if 80% of the men I know, when presented with the opportunity, cheats on his woman, how am I telling myself that we don't have a problem as men? That the problem is women. That women too hard. Women not submissive. Like my wife is Jamaican, and she was raised by a Jamaican woman. And her mama told me a little bit of her story. Like last month, her mama was whew, you hear me? Her mama bust a man head to the white meat because he touched her. He touched her without her permission and hopped on his bike and tried to ride off. She picked up a rock, threw it, bust a man head to the white meat. That's how her mama moved. Her mama threatened to kill me. Me and my wife got into it a few months after we got married. Her mama called me like Liam Neeson. She said, if you ever in your life touch my daughter again, I'll kill you. And I ain't even hit her. My wife was trying to leave, and I was trying to hold her. And so we got into a wrestling tussling match. And I ended up letting her go because she was trying to go so bad. I realized that if I made her stay, I would have to hurt her to make her stay, because she was trying to leave with that much force. And her mama called and threatened my life. So as strong as my wife is, if I ask my wife right now, baby, if it's after 10 o'clock, if I say, baby, you'll go get me a burger from Steak and Shake, she'll look at me like I'm crazy. Huh? Are you serious? Are you kidding me? And she'll go get that burger from Steak and Shake. And when I tell you, she flip at the mouth. When I tell you, she'll tell me about myself. When I tell you she's strong. When I tell you she don't care nothing about me giving her a silent treatment, When I tell you she don't care about me getting no attitude, when I tell you she don't care about none of that, anything I ask my wife to do, she'll do it. But yet men say women too hard, women not submissive, women all this, and it's lies that we telling ourselves. Because if you take and you choose a woman with some class, with some self-respect, with some dignity, with a heart, if you love her and you treat her the way you should be treating her, then she's going to reciprocate that. If you chose a woman who was raised by wolves, if you chose a woman who is a savage, if you chose this woman because of her beauty and her booty, then yes, you're going to get cussed out. Yes, you're going to get spit in your face. Yes, you're going to have a woman that does not respect you, that will not submit to you as a man, because you chose a woman based on the wrong characteristics. So we have to understand this. But see, as men, we're not being open and honest about this. We just moving and we painting this narrative in our mind, and we're feeling like the victims, and we're feeling sorry for ourselves, and we want women to be as bad as us, and we want women to be worse than us in our mind. But when we actually look around, I've heard of one time where a guy girlfriend punched him in the nose, picked him up, body slammed him on the car, and punched him in the nose. But his wife played linebacker in the LFL. That's the only situation. Now, I know it's other times where women will punch men and all of that, but when we truly as men look at it, and we look around and we see, how many men do we know that's abusive? How many men do we know that cheat? How many men do we know? And then when we look and we see women, how many women do we see beating on their man? How many women do we see cheating on their man? So now listen, I tell you, it's 5 women that I tried to make a move on in my entire life that turned me down when I tried on that first move. Now, I cannot tell you how many women, I can't even count how many women that as a young black man with a nice body, with a nice car, with 2 cell phones, looking like money, I cannot tell you how many women that I tried to holler at that said to me that they have a boyfriend or that they have a husband. I remember I tried to holler at a woman, and I don't look like the bottom of a shoe. I don't look like somebody chewed up and spit me out. I remember I tried to holler at a woman in the light, outside of the club, and she gave me a fake phone number. I called the number. The phone answered, "Ass sucker, you thought you had a number, dummy? You ain't got no number. This ain't no number." I was like, now listen, when that woman did that to me, I felt like driving off a bridge. Now listen, this is what I want you to do. I want you to ask yourself, okay, how many women, how many men on these podcasts that before Tony lost his hairline and before Tony put that weight on, how many men on these podcasts hands down would have looked better than Tony? So listen, if women was giving me fake numbers and women was telling me they got a boyfriend, then what you think them men that look like this here and them men that look like this here lamp went through? They went through what I went through and more. So when that lady gave me that fake number and I felt like driving off that bridge, that is the feeling that 7 out of 10 single men have today. They are hurt. They are hurt. They have been lied to. They've been played. They done been ran through the mud. They done been took through these circles. They done went through this stuff. So guess what? They hurt. They is angry. And I'm gonna try, and I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna be honest with you. The only podcast that I could think of that got men who I feel like could have had their way with as many women as they wanted to is The Pivot. And there's a sports podcast. They don't talk about relationships. There's a sports podcast. So I could be missing one or two, but nearly every other podcast that I look at, I could tell that them men was outside the club, that they was at the back of the line, that they was the homeboy who the girls cheated off their test. They were the homeboy who gave the girl their lunch money so she could get a piece of pizza at lunch. And he'll just eat the regular lunch, or he wouldn't even eat. He'll give, and see, the thing about it is, women don't have discernment, because see, so I can't even lean on y'all to tell me who y'all think used to could get women, because as soon as a man get a beard and get some money and get a platform, y'all don't know what y'all be talking about. But see, men know men. Men know men. Men know men. And so I'm looking around at these men. Yeah, he was the teddy bear. Yeah, he was the one letting the woman cheat off his test. And that's how women will do you. And they'll keep you right in that space. I remember when I met my wife, she had a whole book of DVDs from another man that she never dated. If I let you hold a DVD, I'm finna wear that thing out. You not finna have $10,000 worth of DVDs and I ain't diving off in that thing. Man, I'm in that thing. Black of LA, SBLACKAEELLIE. Hey, listen, I'm not. So this what you have to understand. The narrative is being created by men who are angry. They are hurting because the girl that they got in high school, she slept with the quarterback. She slept with the running back. And they go through a lot. These men went through a lot. So the reason why they get mad at me is because I was on the other side of it. And I was dogging women out. So I wasn't experiencing the hurt. So they say, man, you a simp. And now they getting to deflect and call me a simp because they have been a simp all their life. They were the real sense of the word simp. And so it hurt them. So now they want to take and they want to get back. They want some get back. Now they like, hey, I'm making 6 figures. I got a platform. I got a following. Hey, I'm finna dog these women out. I'm finna tell, I'm finna tell these women about themselves. And they literally taking the pain from one woman, maybe 2 women, and they unleashing that pain on a whole generation. They warping the minds of our young men. They warping the minds of our young men. It's just like the guy that these men look up to. It's now think about it, and God rest his soul. But if you look at Kevin Samuels, never have a man who wear a crossbody with a scarf and cross their legs and stand feminine been able to get a bunch of women. Never. Never. But that's who the guys worship. When you look at the guy, even who they other father is Andrew Tate. Andrew is tall, but when you watch him talk, he has a lisp. He has a lisp, and when you look at his ears and how his ears sit off of his head, and the fact that he went bald and then looked like went to get the hair treatment over there in Turkey, and so it's coming back real fuzzy and stuff like that. And somebody say he walked funny. You take that man with them ears, with that lisp, with that hairline, and you put him in a 12-year-old body. You take a man who don't have a gut now, ain't got a gut, still slender and lean naturally, don't even look like he really could be big. And you take that and you put that in a 12 or 15-year-old body, he was getting bullied. And that's probably what led him to doing MMA, so that he could stop being bullied. But see, people don't pay attention to this. People don't pay attention to it. And so when these men come out and put women in their place, when you strong, you don't want to put somebody in a place that you say is weaker than you. So if a man believes that a woman is the weaker vessel, then why would a man have to strong arm her and put her in her place if he already believed she the weaker vessel? If a man believes that a woman is the weaker vessel, as the Bible says, then that man wants that woman to have the last piece of food. He wants her to have the advantage. He wants her to be first in line. He wants her to eat first. He want to protect her. He want to lift her up. He want to bless her if he truly is strong and he believes that she is the weaker vessel, as they say. But they'll say a woman is less than them, a woman is weaker than them, a woman is this, a woman is that, but then be yelling at the women, cussing the women out, strong arming the women. So it's like we only do that when we intimidated by somebody. If you're not intimidated by somebody, then you never wanna put them in their place. You never wanna straighten them out. Like, you wanna straighten out a bully. You wanna straighten out the bad guy. And so that's truly how they be seeing a woman. And that's why we having a breakdown of men. And I've been guilty of it. I have been guilty of it. I done been sucked in to that mindset of want to have complete control, want to have complete say so, want to have a woman in her place, want to have a woman under my foot, because of I had to realize that the men I'm looking up to is weaker than me. The men I'm looking up to is lame. The men I'm looking up to lames. Like, hold on, man. Of course he mad with women because he's a lame. Because he done been treated like a lame. His feelings hurt. His heart hurt. So yeah, he mad with women. But a man who don't feel like that, he want to build a woman up. He want to strengthen a woman. So the thing about it is now, I don't look at nobody. I heard a quote that says, a man said that the makeup of a man is his history and his biography. So when I look at somebody, I don't look at who they are right now. Because who they are right now is based on what the world has done to them and how they have responded to it. So when I look at somebody, I look at them as a child. Who were they when they were a child? How did the world treat this person based on their body type, their skin complexion, their speech, their look? What did the world do to them? Because we know the world has its constructs, and we know that the world is set up in a way that the world is cruel. The world is cruel. So when you see somebody as an adult, like if you see a man with a beard, you got to picture him without that beard, because he didn't have that beard at 12. And that's really where his personality was shaped. That's really who he was. And so you got to be able to see somebody and say, oh, hold on now. This person, okay, yeah. And the same thing when I see women. And this is what I try to tell men, because sometimes they'll put women in a box. When I look at a woman, I don't look at who she is as an adult. I ask myself, what did that woman go through as a teen? What did she go through as a child? Okay, if she giving that thing away and she out here just on her back, what's her story? When I look into that story, 9 out of 10 times I see that she was victimized as a youth. I see that she was taken advantage of as a youth. And I see that she lost her dignity. She lost her self-respect. She lost her self-love. And that right there, that's why she is who she is today. When I meet a woman who is unrealistic, I look at that woman and I look back at her life and I say, okay, well, who was you raised by? Majority of the time she was raised with her father, an unrealistic woman who don't know what to expect from a man. And what I realize is she is unrealistic about what to expect from a man because her dad has lied to her her whole life. Her dad has pretended to be perfect. He's pretended to be Superman. So now she believes that this man is supposed to be just like her dad, not realizing that her dad is called and commissioned to love her unconditionally because she is his responsibility and he brought her into the world. But it is not that man's responsibility to love a woman who is entitled and disrespectful. That husband, that boyfriend who is in process to become a husband has the right to walk away. That he got the right to walk away because she is not his responsibility. And that even when he marries her, if she start to disrespecting him and dogging him out, that She breaking a covenant and he got the right to walk away. And then the same thing with a woman who doesn't have a father. If she unrealistic, it tells me that her mom lied to her and told her all of these things because of what she went through. And if her mom didn't make a marriage work, she was raised by her mom and her mom left that marriage, her mom may give her an unrealistic expectation of what marriage is supposed to be because she didn't find or meet a man who they figured it out and they learn how to make it work. So that's why a lot of times single men and women who was raised by a single parent, a lot of times their default ends up being single because what they saw is either an unrealistic example that didn't have both sides to balance, or they saw walking away for reasons that could have been worked through. And then we have those exceptions whether it's one parent or two parent, where a real representation of love is shown. So you have parents who will tell their child, hey, you got somebody good, man or woman, you got somebody good. And you can't just run away because you unhappy, because the toilet seat being left up, because you not getting your way all the time, because this right here, that right there, you're not being cheated on, you're not being beat on. The rest of the stuff you're going to have to work through. Y'all going to have to learn how to communicate. Y'all going to have to learn how to work together. Y'all going to have to learn how to have conflict and then how to have resolution. It is going to be hard. You are going to cry. You're going to sweat. You're going to need counseling or coaching or prayer or all of the above, but you got to make it work. You're not in danger. Your life is not on the line. You're not being, dogged out. So shut up with this, you unhappy or you bored, and make that relationship work. And there's some parents who gonna tell their kids that. But then some parents, they only gonna take their child's side. Oh, that's not fair. Or, oh, that ain't right. Oh, that ain't right. And a lot of times it's a disgruntled married parent or it is a single parent to where they don't seek to understand. And that's what I love about my daddy. When I call my daddy, if I'm in the wrong, he gonna tell me, Tony, you wrong. Tony, you wrong. He gonna tell me I'm wrong. If my wife in the wrong, he gonna tell me, Tony, she in the wrong, and this what you need to tell her. This what you need to say. And then when I'm in the wrong, Tony, you in the wrong, and this what you need to do. And that's what we need from parents. We need parents, whether they are single or whether they are married and unhappy, we need parents to be able to tell their child the truth. Because we getting a little bit of discomfort, we getting a little unhappy, and we running from the smoke. We running from the work. And that's why our society is breaking down. That's why our society is breaking down right now. Because men hating women, women hating men, and everybody is competing. And I'm going to tell you something that I'm seeing, and I'm going to tell you something. It's just how I talk to you, how I talk to you about the men that is out here with these podcasts that's bashing women, that's going in on women. Let me tell you about what's on the woman side of it that is getting despicable, is getting nasty. We have too many nasty women. I'm telling y'all, women, do not get sucked in to the devil's playground of being nasty. because I'm seeing women post sexual stuff online, and women is in the comments, yeah, ooh, this and that, ooh, this and that. Like the girl from London, she always posts a nasty question. And then you got women with no class going into the tweets and sharing all their nasty business. Take your nasty behind to the altar in prayer. Do not let these demons who is trying to destroy relationships, because here go this woman, I don't know her name, Oloni or Oni or something like that on Twitter. I don't know if she's still out there doing it, but she always will ask a stupid question. Stuff that is supposed to be between a person and God. She will ask a stupid a question, and then she will have all of these broken, lost, nasty women in the comments. Yeah, I cheated on my man while he was in the bed next to me. Yeah, I slept with my man best friend. Or yeah, I slept with 2 women at the same time, and then had my man do this to me or do that to me, and he didn't know it. Yeah, I had a boyfriend the whole time while I was with my man. So now all of the men who want a wife, they want a wife. No, this was on Twitter. They want a wife. They want to get married. They're going to these pages that is posting these stupid questions. Tell your dirtiest secret. Tell what nobody knows. Tell your worst cheating episode. Tell a fantasy you have. Would you cheat on your man with 50 Cent for $1 million? Would you? They ask these questions to ratchet women, and then ratchet women become the voice for all women. And then men, we sitting there in the comments, we looking at the comments, and we losing all faith and hope in women and in humanity. And we sitting there, and so it's going both ways. So the same way women could watch men on these podcasts and you start to lose hope, the same way men could watch women on these podcasts and start to lose hope. And it affects all of us. When these women start telling the stuff they done did, all of us, including myself, is looking at our woman with a side eye. Baby, let me talk to you for a second. Somebody posed this question online about like the sneakiest thing you done ever did. And I wanted to know what I know you ain't gonna incriminate yourself, but like before me, like what's the slimiest thing you never did to a guy? That's how all us be. And then my woman, what are you talking about? Man, listen, I'm not like those women. And then she had to remind me, she got to put sense into my head. Listen to what you're saying. If a woman, she was like, I don't even tweet. So if a woman will go online and tweet that she has did this or that, we are not the same. And then I'm like, man, you know what? You're right. You're right. Not every woman is the same, but we don't realize that. The same thing of if a man say something, a man could say, you know, if I'm doing this right here, if I'm providing, I'm paying the bills, then my woman need to be cooking every day. So now every woman, she looking like, man, gotta cook every day just to have a provider, man. When it's men out here who we don't care about the home cooked meal. Yeah, we like it, but it's not a deal breaker. It's not something that I'm moving furniture, I'm throwing furniture around if my wife don't feel like cooking. But when we hear something, we believe it. So right now, I want you to understand, I want you to see the perversion. Now in class tomorrow, we're gonna be calling names. We're gonna be saying, now I can't say names on here, but in class tomorrow, we're gonna be calling names. Class ain't on here. And if you're not in Tony Gaskins Academy, if you ain't taking no course and you ain't on the mailing list and you ain't get notified by the class, no, don't try to get in the class now after you done unsubscribe from the mailing list. Class full. But tomorrow we're gonna be calling names. Now we're gonna be calling names. We're gonna be giving real life examples, celebrities and all. We're going through. We're gonna talk about these spirits. But when you see the spirit on a man on the Hill Podcast, I want you to realize that same spirit is on a woman on the Hill Podcast. It's going both ways, and it's showing up differently. It's gonna show up differently for the men. The spirit has men showing up bitter, hurt, and angry. And for the women, it's having women showing up slaughterhouse, nasty, with no couth and self-respect. Women is talking about he could cheat long as he cheat in peace or cheat respectfully. Women talking about you got Iyanla Vanzant talking about she'll be one of many wives, so she don't have to be taking care of the man every day and doing all of that. I say, nah, see that right there is the devil's work. And that's what I've been trying to tell y'all. That is what I've been trying to tell y'all. Y'all have watched Iyanla fix your life on the OWN network for decades. And you is on there, you praising Iyanla, you respecting her, you loving her, you ignoring the fact that she's not married and giving married couples advice and telling them how to make their marriage work, and she's single as a dollar bill. And then she get to the height of her career and go on The Breakfast Club, the #1 radio show in the world, and says that she is okay with polyamory or polygyny or polygamy or whatever they was talking about. And then it goes to explain why she'll be okay with it and why she'll do that. And I say, man, but see, that is how the devil work. That's how the devil work. See, the devil will give you something good and give you all this good, all this good, all this good, and take you all the way to the valley, get you all the way out here in the wilderness, and then say, drink this poison. Drink this poison. We ain't worried about if she was married. We talking about, because if you was married and it didn't work, then that means you don't have the recipe for it to work, regardless of why it didn't work. So you could tell why it didn't work, but you cannot tell how it will work. That's going to take experience. So that's what got to be understood. But we letting so many single people give relationship advice instead of single advice. Give single advice on how to be happy single. Give single advice on how to have self-love. Give that single advice. You got to give advice from where you at and where you winning. You can't even tell. A lot of times we don't even know why we lost. But see, what I try to tell y'all is this: how the adversary work. The adversary gonna give you some good, give you some good, give you some good, give you some good. And then you're gonna end up at a concert and they're gonna pass out some juice. And you're gonna drink that juice and everybody gonna fall to the ground. You're gonna be following somebody who's saying something right. And when you so bought in and you so in love with the man or the woman and their message has pulled you out of your darkest times. If they're working for the devil, they're going to get to a place where they're going to tell you something that is going to destroy everything that you've built. So just like the single relationship coach, he was on a podcast talking about he used to be abstinent, but he was saying used to be. He used to be. So now that sends a message that fornication is okay. That you could talk about God and say God and be living in sin against God. Now it's sending a message that if you meet him and y'all start to talking, y'all gonna be having sex. That he expects you to sleep with him because he's no longer abstinent. And with all of these women out here, when a man got over 1 million followers and he talking good, if he is not full of it, it should be easy to get a woman if he's not full of it. But these women is getting these men behind closed doors and realizing that they full of it. Realizing that they scam artists. Because it's single men who giving relationship advice, and it's single men who got a podcast that ain't Lala Anthony single, and she out there, you know, celebrity. Some of the Jenner sisters probably single. A lot of the actresses is single. A lot of the pro athletes, women is single. A lot of the R&B singer is single. Like LeBron James' friend who got Adele. How in the world is Adele single at that level? If you got women single at the highest heights of their career, that means it is no excuse for these men with millions of dollars and millions of followers to be single. Because you is not that good, you is not that smart, and you is not that special. There is 1 million women out here that is worthy of being your wife. So if you're gonna be single for decades, giving advice on relationships, when all of these single people is out here, you need to shut up and sit down. You need to shut up. You need to take the money that you're making from scamming people on relationship talk, take all of the millions, invest it into real estate, buy you 50 houses and collect rent. Get $50,000 to $100,000 a month in rent checks, and shut up talking about love and relationships, and go into the closet and work on yourself. Pray, fast, and intercede in the God that you say you believe in until God sends you your wife. And then when you get your wife and you figure out how to make it work and you loving her and you faithful, then come back out and get back to talking about love and relationships. But until then, y'all need to shut up. Trying to be famous, trying to have notoriety, and trying to make money pimping relationships when you're not living it. And if you, whatever you living, then pimp that. If you living single, solo, and happy, get every dime out of it you can. But if you living single, solo, and happy, stop talking about a successful relationship that you don't have and that you wasn't able to make work. Talk about your mistakes and tell people don't make these mistakes, and leave it right there. Go on about your business. Listen, I'm gonna get on out here at 100 minutes. It look like my oldest son getting in the shower, and my throat hurt me. Listen to me. It's time now. It's time. Now tomorrow night, we got class tomorrow night. I said, you can pay what you want to pay for the class. Somebody sent 1 cent. I say, man, somebody trolling me. Somebody said, what's it? I say, and you know what? It was dumb of me the way I did it because I posted the PayPal link. And the reason why I posted the PayPal link is because PayPal have PayPal credit. So because some people are on a finance $25 because we just in that state right now. So I sent the PayPal link. Somebody sent an e-check. So that means the payment don't even come till after the class. And then somebody sent 1 cent. I say, you might as well just write in and say, Tony, I only got 1 cent. Can I have the class for free? Instead of doing me like that. Because PayPal took the 1 cent because they got a minimum that they gonna take on transaction. So I ain't even get the 1 cent. PayPal, oh, thank you. This is a donation to us. I say, man, come on. And listen, sometimes I have to do these classes because I can't say everything on here. I can't say everybody's name. Because see, the way I'm is if I have to call a name and then somebody got to come for me, I'll be done went to jail. And so because I know where my mindset at, and that's where the Lord working on me, I have to be careful to not put myself in a place to where the devil could snuff me out. Because the devil know he's not going to get me to cheat on my wife. And I done said that a lot of times, and it's been no women come in my DM and try to shoot their shot. It's been women come in my DM and they'll try to strike up a conversation, but they ain't shooting no shot. And so what the devil know he'll get me is me slapping fire to somebody or me laying somebody down and send them to meet the Lord. And that's where he'll have me locked up. And so I have to go behind the paywall sometimes with individuals who really serious and really about their work, in addition to doing these free hour and 40-minute. And the other night we did 3 or 4 hours. In addition to these, sometimes I have to go somewhere else because I have to be able to say names and I have to be able to call people out because I have to be able to point out who the demon is residing in so that you know clearly who I'm talking about and what that demon is doing in and through them. So that if you're not there yet spiritually, on that spiritual discernment, it was a woman who sent the 1 cent. It was a woman. I said, well, I told my wife, I'm like, man, that's what I'm worth. I'm like, man, how she see me? But it was a lot of people. I said the class $25, but if you can't afford it, send what you can. A lot of people sent $2, $3. And so that's why if you didn't get an email, you can't sign up for class. If you didn't get an email, that means you're not in my ecosystem. You're not on my mailing list. But you ain't, no real rider, so I can't just send a link to people that's not on my list. And it's a certain way to get on the list. So unfortunately, it's for the riders. It's for the riders right here. No, that wasn't no mistake. Nah, you can't mistake 0.01. That you can't mistake that. Nah. Yeah, can't mistake that. And so I had to pray, man. I had to pray. And I just had to pray and say, Lord, Lord, I hope this is all that she could do and not just spitting in my face. So yeah, tomorrow what we're going to do in class, we're going to have the class and we're going to teach. Y'all know you got to hear the same thing 16 times before you commit it to long-term memory. So some of this stuff we'll cover, but we also going to have Q&A, and not necessarily Q&A about your relationship and what you're going through, but Q&A about, this right here, what we dealing with spiritually in these love and relationships and what you got to be prepared for. And bring your pen and pad because we're going to talk about the do's and don'ts. I'm going to give you the do's and don'ts, and you got to be willing to ride with it. And just like that. Beauty Shan, this is not a Q&A. This is not a Q&A. And typically, you not, and also in the chat is just for members, but I couldn't set that setting on here. So y'all, if you see the button up under the thing, when I'm on my computer, it just members could be in the chat. So it's a button up under the thing that say join. You could join that if you want to be in the chat on the future lives when I'm on my computer, but I'm on my phone tonight. No, tomorrow night really not for married people, but we will touch on it a little bit because the stuff that's going on in the spiritual realm of relationships is affecting our marriages, include mine. It affect all of us because we got to hear it and we got to navigate through it and we got to hear all this talk. So, you know, but if you didn't get the email, you can't be in the class. And so the only way you could be in the class is if you got the email. So if you got me blocked, if you got me going to junk folder, if you unsubscribe from the mailing list, you can't be in the class. And the only way to get into the class is you got to be in a course on TonyGassonAcademy.com. So, and then that puts you on the list. But even with that, sometimes people don't get on there because they email be blocking stuff. But hey, God bless y'all. We'll talk soon.